Got a big box this time. 10 slabs in this unboxing video. You know the rules. I know the grade. I know the issues. I do not know the grades. You're getting my first reaction on this video here. By the way, my name's James. I run CGC Sports Illustrated. Find me on every social media platform under the same name, CGC Sports Illustrated. I get, I always like to use this minute or so while I'm unpacking to answer questions and maybe kind of dispel some myths out there. A couple of myths. I do not hate subscription issues. They're just not for me. Another myth, I do not hate autographs. I love autographs. I just hate the way CGC does them. And so that's been a problem. So please, I don't hate subscription issues. I don't hate autographs. There are just issues with both of those sorts of things. The other question I get asked a lot is, Jim, do you, how big's your collection and how many, do you buy all your issues raw or do you buy graded ones? So to answer that is, I probably got 300 to 400, maybe 500 slabs on hand at any given time. I'm constantly buying and selling. I'm constantly getting them graded, obviously, these unboxing videos. So I buy a ton of raw issues. I buy a ton of slabbed issues. I sell a ton of raw issues, or I sell a ton of slabbed issues. I don't mess around with selling raw issues just because I've got so many. And that's a daunting thing to tackle. 10 slabs in this issue. Got a number of first cover, a lot of GOATs. Kobe, Jordan, a couple Gretzky's, couple baseball first covers, couple first covers I've never owned before. Really a fun box of a lot of big issues in this one. So 9.8s are harder to get than they've ever been, but fingers crossed. And let's see if we can't get a couple 9.8s in this box. And let's start right here. Oh, not a 9.8, but I'm blown away by this one. Whoo! Wow. Okay, I'm thrilled with this one. Absolutely thrilled. Yeah, I think I may have gotten so normally we talk about how those rotten graders at CGC, this is in a lot better condition than that grade they gave me. I got a kiss on this one. So I projected this at an 8.5, and just glancing at it, I can see several flaws that could not be fixed during pressing, and my projection on this was 8.5, and to have it pop a 9.2, I'm loving it, man. Did not get the labeling on this one, so that's leave it to CGC to beat my grade expectation, make me really happy, and then disappoint the hell out of me because they didn't label it properly. I've never owned this cover before. It is a super rare, impossible cover to find in newsstand, impossible to get in a high grade. Cal Ripken Jr., first cover, March 9th, 1987. Actually, this is a first cover for the whole family. Cal Sr., Cal Jr., Billy Ripken all on there. It's the first Sports Illustrated cover for all three of them. I remember specifically putting that on my Post-it note, which is the proper procedure that you're supposed to do when you want to request labeling. You put Post-it note on your bagged and boarded issue, and I put first Senior, first Junior, first Billy cover. And they didn't put any of them on there. But it's the first cover for all three. So there are two 9.4s that exist. There are now two 9.2s. There's an 8.0 and there's another one out there. Like I said, projected this at 8.5, so I'm thrilled with the result. There are 6 graded copies of this issue in existence. That should tell you how hard this one is to find. It's freaking Cal Ripken Jr., Hall of Fame, Iron Man, beat Joe DiMaggio's record. Just impossible to find in newsstand. Let's talk about why it's condition sensitive. So full color on the back, full color on the front, some dark ink along the side. You hear me talk about this all the time. That blue strip is not the cover, it's page 2. Technically, I guess it'd be page 3. But this is a gatefold or a tri-fold cover, opens up into an advertising display that's like having a second spine. And you can see it right there. Right there. Color break all along there. So I'm shocked at this 9.2, but I love it and I'll take it. Cal Ripken Jr., Billy and Senior, all their first cover from 1987. Only 2 copies in the world graded higher than that 9.2. That is the way to start a box. Oh, had to have a little refreshment break there after all that excitement. I want to make sure these are facing the right way. They mixed. Normally, CGC does a good job of having them all face the right way, but this one, that's not the case. They're kind of mixed up in there. Okay, next up. I think I know what this one is by this back. I'm pretty sure I know what this one is. Sometimes they'll use the same ad on the back of multiple covers, especially if they're released around the same time, but I'm pretty sure I know what this one is. It's a big one. It's a big one. Somebody messaged me recently on Twitter and said, Jim, you've got to tell, whenever you get a 9.6, you always grab your chin. That thing must be pretty smooth by now. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit so I don't have the exact same reaction to these stinking 9.6s, especially on this one. It is labeled properly. It does say first Mike Trout cover, August 27, 2012. Very condition sensitive. So all of this ink on the back means that any flaws are going to show up like crazy. I think that's my flaw right there. Got some color break on that bottom corner. Oh, nope. That's my flaw right there. See that color break on that red part of his arm right there? Can't be taken out during pressing. So 9.6, as devastating as it is for this, it is a fair grade. There are 5 9.8s. That's it. I'm going to go through the rest of the pop list, then I'm going to back it up. There are 5 9.8s. There are now 18 9.6s, 8 9.4s. I projected this at a 9.2, so really happy that I got 2 tiers above that. And whenever you see an issue that has very few 9.8s, but a ton of 9.6s and 9.4s, it's a good clue that it's probably a really condition-sensitive issue. It's freaking Mike Trout. There's only 5 9.8s in the world. I used to own one of those. I sold it a few years ago. So I'm trying to get back there and get that 9.8 again. Trout's an amazing player, guaranteed Hall of Famer. The problem for Trout and his collectability and his career is he plays for the freaking Angels. And, those guys can't make the damn playoffs. Even with Trout and Shohei Ohtani now. And that's why Ohtani wants the hell out of there. Trout should do the same thing because he's dying there playing for the Angels. That's how we judge our athletes. How many championships did you win? Not winning any damn championships, playing for the Angels. Taking my 9.6 frustration on Mike Trout and his poor career choice to stay in LA like that, stay in Anaheim. All right, next up. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that is very, very nice. Okay, good. This is good. Had some boxes recently where I have been just been dogs, to be honest, and very painful. But this whole box is, and I hope I'm not jinxing myself for the rest of it, this whole box has been rock frickin' solid so far. Bo Jackson, this is the Which Way Bo cover, came out on December 14th, 1987. There is one 9.4. Would have loved to have tied that or beaten that one. There are now 2 9.2s. There's a 9.0. There's some others out there. I projected this at a 9.2, so hit my projection spot on. I've got a lot of nostalgia and a lot of love for Bo Jackson. So I've told this story before. I got to see him play football live in person once. I think I was 17 years old, living in the Detroit metro area, and the Raiders were playing the Lions on a Monday night football game. So when I lived in Detroit, I went to a ton of Lions games because the Lions were terrible, and the Silverdome was 80,000 seats, so you could get tickets for nothing. And you go there and have the whole place to yourself. I mean, most of the time it was like an 80,000 seat stadium. On a normal Sunday, it'd be like 20,000 people there. The place was empty. It was awesome. But you got to remember, this is Detroit. And there's a certain attitude with Detroit people in general and certain sports fans. So whenever I would go to a Lions game at the Silverdome, you would guarantee that you'd see several fights. In the stands, in the concourse, and this is before social media and cameras on our phones and that sort of stuff. But that was kind of the joke. So 17 years old, Raiders are coming to town, playing the Lions, Monday Night Football. My buddies and I, sure as hell, we're going to that game. Got tickets for next to nothing. Place was still half empty. Man, the fights, Monday Night Football just hits different. There were fights everywhere in that game. Bo lit it up, running like crazy. It was in the middle of the Nike campaign, Bo knows basketball, Bo knows football, Bo knows baseball, and all that sort of stuff. I remember some guy had a sign that said, Bo knows your mom, which for a group of, it was like 7 or 8 of us guys, or a group of, 7 or 8 17-year-old guys, Bo knows your mom was freaking hilarious. That's the only time I got to see Bo Jackson live, but he lit up the Lions and just ran over everybody that day. Bo and Barry Sanders. In the same game, two of the most exciting, incredible running backs of all time in the same freaking game. I love this cover. Collectability aside, and let's talk about that for a minute. So Bo Jackson's first cover, 1985, not very collectible, really tiny picture of him. It's not a great first cover. Second cover, amazingly collectible. He's in his minor league baseball uniform. He's wearing like a schmedium shirt. His guns are out. He's looking cut. Awesome. In my opinion, visually, these beats both of them, both of those covers, and all the other Bo Jackson covers, because it has that superimposed of him playing football for the Raiders, playing baseball for the Kansas City Royals. The legend of Bo Jackson, in my mind, keeps growing over the years as we keep seeing clips of his highlights on social media and YouTube and that sort of stuff, because he was maybe the greatest professional sports athlete of all time. I mean, his athleticism was through the roof. Cut short by injuries, especially in football, and I love that cover, and I love that 9.2. All right, sorry, we're way into this already, and I'm getting chatty and telling all sorts of stories. I'll move a little bit faster. Okay, so this is a vintage issue, obviously. We can see a cigarette out on the back. I think they stopped doing that in the 90s, but what you see is what's called tanning on there. So this is supposed to be a white back cover. Tanning is when paper over time oxidizes and it changes the color of paper. Very, very difficult, if almost impossible to remove. There's some people that will treat it with chemicals and can remove that. That was a popular technique for a long time. CGC has gotten wise to that and has started noticing that chemical treatment on there and giving you purple restored slabs. So just kind of a wonky pressing and cleaning warning there, that if you want to go into the solvent treatment to clean your magazines and get rid of this oxidation, you got to be really careful with that. Really, really careful, because we're seeing a lot more restored labels, especially on the comic book side with that. Let's see what this is. Okay, that's fine. I mean, normally you'd see me with a 6.0 and I'd be, miserable and bitching about inconsistency and grading at CGC and woe is me and all that sort of crap. But this one is in range because I projected this at a 6.5. So that's within my range. And I love this cover in any condition whatsoever. Beautiful, 6.0. This is the Miracle on Ice issue. This came out on March 3rd, 1980. Let's go through these pop reports because they tell a story. There is one 9.8. I'm very fortunate to be the one that owns that. I bought that issue raw, pressed it myself, and got it graded, and it popped a 9.8. There is a 9.6 that is new in the census that showed up in the last 6 months or so. There's one 9.4. So that's it. You got one 9.8, one 9.6, one 9.4, and then there's a boatload of these other graded out there, but very condition sensitive. These didn't survive because people read them. They consumed them. This was 1980. This is how we read the stories and got the information. We didn't have ESPN. We didn't have 24/7 News. We didn't have the internet and social media. We had Sports Illustrated. That was it. This win, if you're young, if you don't remember the Cold War, I can't overstate what an incredible and amazing moment this was, not only in sports, but geopolitically as well. Back to the condition sensitive of it. Most of these, if you look at the pop report, most of these are in that 7.5 to 8.5 range. Very few above that. In my opinion, this is a top 10 cover of all time in this entire hobby because of a number of things. It's a beautiful looking cover. I love the fact there is no headline. One of the very few Sports Illustrated issues where there's no headline. It is clean. It says Sports Illustrated. It's got the date and the price up there. That's it. Beautiful shot of Team USA. You got the fans in the background and the American flag and the United States beating the Russians. If you weren't alive during the Cold War, there's a reason why they called it the Cold War. We were not shooting at Russians, but everything else we did was from a war footing with them. We thought that eventually we were going to go to war with the Soviet Union. We prayed to God that it would be a regular war and not a nuclear war, but we had the threat of just nuclear annihilation over our heads all day, every day. We did duck and cover drills in grade school. I did, at least, and I think everybody else did. So if, the nuclear bomb went off, you'd be hiding on under your desk to protect yourself. That's the kind of crap we did. This Cold War and the potential of a nuclear conflict with the Soviet Union was with all of us every single day. And so you've got the 1980 Olympics, peak Cold War, absolute peak of it all. And you've got our college players playing against professional Russian players, Soviet players, the greatest players in the world. Make no doubt about it. That Soviet team was maybe the greatest hockey team ever assembled. Olympic or NHL or anything. And we had this ragtag bunch of college players that ended up beating the Russians and winning the gold medal. I cannot stress this enough. If you were old enough to be around and of age to where you can remember this, you get it. But if you're not, I'm not going to get you to get it at the level that the rest of us do. Beautiful issue, amazing in any grade. Gotta get moving. I could talk for hours about that issue and how important that win was, and the sense of national pride and beating the Russians, and freaking awesome. Great issue. Captures a moment of history like sports cards can't, like memorabilia can't, like game tickets can't. That's a freaking work of art. Great cover. Next up. This is the first disappointing one. That stinks. Okay, so this is Kobe's moment, June 22nd, 2009. There is one 9.8. I own that one. There's two 9.6s and two 9.4s. I projected this as a 9.4, so I missed my projection window that I like to hit. It's one of my, again, like the Bo Jackson, collectability aside, one of my favorite Kobe Bryant issues. Couple of reasons. I love the solid purple Laker uniforms. Don't see them very often, but you got them here. And then look at that smile of Kobe Bryant there in 2009. I'm a big fan of this issue, big fan of that one, getting it graded. I already own it at 9.8, and it's the only 9.8 out there, so I can't be too disappointed, but I was hoping for more on that one. Okay, next up. Man, that's a condition-sensitive back. I don't know what this issue is, but man, that just screams difficult to get a high grade in. Turns out it is difficult to get a high grade in. This one's shown up a couple times recently. I got to go through all my slabs because I got too many. But I think I'm gonna go for that Tiger run and get all 22 Tiger Woods covers graded. And I've got 16, 17, 18 somewhere in there. I need to get those organized. Oh man, that 9.6 is tough. This is the Tiger 2.0 cover, came out on February 2nd, 2007. There are now two 9.6s. There are no 9.8s. There's a 9.2, there's an 8.5. I projected this at 9.4, so a little bit better than what I had thought I was going to get. Tiger in 2007 only won one major in 2007, and it was the PGA Championship that year. Tiger Woods, Tiger 2.0, 9.6. What version of Tiger do you think we're on now? We're on like version 11.42 or something like that, I think, of Tiger. Guy's been through a lot, that's what I'm saying. Not going to be mad at this one. I projected it at 9.2, so to get it at 9.4, I can't be mad. It's a beautiful looking cover. This is Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier. So this came out on October 7th, 1996. There's one 9.6. This is an instance where I would have loved the 9.6 because it would have been one of the highest graded. There are no 9.8s. There's one 9.6. There's now one 9.4. There's a bunch of others. I projected at 9.2, so happy that I did better than my projection. I kind of forget that Gretzky played with the Rangers. In my mind, he's always with the Oilers or the Kings, and the Oilers and the Kings. But I love this cover because it is the reunion of Gretzky and Messier on the same team after winning all of those Stanley Cups when they played together with the Oilers in the 80s. So this one tells that great story of Gretzky and Messier, winning cups with the Oilers, going their own separate ways, and then coming together again and playing for the Rangers in the late 90s. They did not win a Stanley Cup in New York together. The best they got was Gretzky got them to the Eastern Conference Finals this season. Yeah, the 96-97 season. So Gretzky and Messier at a 9.4. Not bad, but man, I can't be mad at that cover because that's just a freaking beautiful looking cover. Packing slip. Next up, what do I got? I got 3 left here. Okay, come on. Let's see what we got. I've been very happy with this box and no 9.8s. Isn't that interesting? It's been a fun box. Until now. You know what? I've had this graded. This has been a chase issue for me. This is probably the 7th or 8th copy of this I've gotten graded. Don't care. I'm going to keep getting it graded. I am going to keep getting it graded until I can hit that damn 9.8. It's close. Oh, man. Looking for the flaw. Yeah, that top corner breaks color, and that's the problem. Kobe Bryant. This is the tribute issue after his death in 2020. This came out on February 10th, 2020. There's a lot of these out there. 18 9.8s. They're now 14 9.6s, 15 9.4s. I projected this at a 9.4, so I obviously thought it was going to have a hard time getting a 9.8. Did a little bit better than my projection. I already own this at 9.6. There were a lot of publications that did Kobe Bryant tributes in February 2020. Obviously, this, in my opinion, is the best one. I like it better than the Special Sports Illustrated one they did. There's a Newsweek, People, I mean, you name it. There were a lot of LA Times magazine. There are tons of Kobe tributes. This is the best one, in my opinion. You've just got that it just hits you right here. Black and white. Kobe, number 24, with his back turned to you. He's kind of bowing a little bit. It still hurts. Still hurts. And a 9.6 hurts. All right. Been a good box, though. Been a fun box. Been a fun box with no 9.8s. I'm going to say it. It's the most fun box I've ever had without a 9.8. It's been great. A lot of fun issues. Yeah, I knew this wasn't great. I projected this at 7.5. This is Michael Jordan, the How High Can He Fly? Came in at a 7.0. This came out on March 13th, 1989. There are no 9.8s. 2 9.6s, 2 9.2s, 2 9.0s. Those are the highest graded. Like I said, projected 7.5 in my window on the downside. I own this at 8.0. So, I own all 50 Michael Jordan issues graded. This is the lowest grade out of any of my 50 Michael Jordan issues that I have, is the other one, 8.0, that I own. Very tough Jordan issue to find. This was the last one for me. I had the hardest time finding this in newsstand to finish out my run of all the Jordan covers. And it's, like I said, my lowest graded one out of all 50. And it's easy to see why. All that black ink on the cover makes it very condition sensitive. That's why there's no 9.8. Okay, last one. Let's finish on a high note. Don't know what this one is, but it's going to be tough to pop a 9.8 because it looks like it's from the 70s or the 80s based on this ad on the back. See what we can do. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. You know this one. Wayne Gretzky, first cover, October 12th, 1981. There is one 9.8. There are now 4 9.4. So for the longest time, it went 9.8, 9.2. And then I think all within the last year, all 4 of those 9.4s have shown up in the census. There's 2 9.2s. I projected this at 6.5, so very happy with the 7.0. I do own this already. I've owned a bunch of these. You've seen a lot of them in my videos. I do currently own one at 9.0. Very condition-sensitive issue. A couple of things about it. Gray strip. I'm a broken record, but I think it's important for people that are new to this hobby that gray strip is not the cover. It is actually page 3. This is a gatefold. opens up, makes it condition sensitive. All that dark orange ink on the cover also makes it condition sensitive. Another thing that you'll see frequently with this issue, I don't really see it with this one, although a little bit there, you'll frequently see staple tears. So it's a bit of a thick issue, not real thick, but a little on the thick side. So we got a little bit of a staple tear there on that bottom one there. So if you're looking to buy one of these raw, always look at the staples because you get a lot of staple tears there. What a fun box! A fun box with no 9.8s. Who knew that that could even actually be a thing? Follow me on social media. I'm on every platform at CGC Sports Illustrated. Do me a favor, subscribe here on YouTube, and really appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot. We'll do it again soon.